However, since man in the individual or in the aggregate has been so fashioned that he goes through life blissfully obtuse to the deeper subtleties of his womankind, so the men of 40 Mile failed to divine the inner deviltry of Joy Molyneux. They confessed afterward that they had failed to appreciate this dark-eyed daughter of the Aurora, whose father had traded furs in the country before ever they dreamed of invading it, and who had herself first opened eyes on the scintillant northern lights. Nay, accident of birth had not rendered her less the woman, nor had it limited her woman's understanding of men. They knew she played with them, but they did not know the wisdom of her play, its deepness, and its deftness. They failed to see more than the exposed card, so that to the very last 40 Mile was in a state of pleasant obfuscation, and it was not until she cast her final trump that it came to reckon up the score. Early in the week, the camp turned out to start Jack Harrington and Louis Savoy on their way. They had taken a shrewd margin of time, for it was their wish to arrive at Olaf Nelson's claim some days previous to the expiration of its immunity, that they might rest themselves and their dogs be fresh for the first relay. On the way up, they found the men of Dawson already stationing spare dog teams along the trail, and it was manifest that little expense had been spared in view of the millions at stake. A couple of days after the departure of their champions, 40 Mile began sending up their relays, first to the 75 station, then to the 50, and last to the 25. The teams for the last stretch were magnificent, and so equally matched that the camp discussed their relative merits for a full hour at 50 below, before they were permitted to pull out. At the last moment, Joy Molyneux dashed in among them on her sled. She drew Lon McFane, who had charge of Harrington's team, to one side, and hardly had the first words left her lips when it was noticed that his lower jaw dropped with a celerity and emphasis suggestive of great things. He unhitched Wolffang from her sled, put him at the head of Harrington's team, and mushed the string of animals into the Yukon Trail. Poor Louis Savoy, men said. But Joy Molyneux flashed her black eyes defiantly and drove back to her father's cabin. Midnight drew near on Olaf Nelson's claim. A few hundred fur-clad men had preferred 60 below and the jumping to the inducements of warm cabins and comfortable bunks. Several score of them had their notices prepared for posting, and their dogs at hand. A bunch of Captain Constantine's mounted police had been ordered on duty that fair play might rule. The command had gone forth that no man should place a stake till the last second of the day had ticked itself into the past. In the Northland, such commands are equal to Jehovah's in the matter of potency. The dum-dum as rapid and effective as the thunderbolt. It was clear and cold. The Aurora Borealis painted palpitating color revels on the sky. Rosy waves of cold brilliancy swept across the zenith, while great coruscating bars of greenish white blotted out the stars, or a Titan's hand reared mighty arches above the pole. And at this mighty display the wolf dogs howled, as had their ancestors of old time.